Hi there. You're listening to The Source Perspective.
Today's topic, it's all a perfect 10. Podcast ended. No. Okay. So there's some nuance.
I totally get it.
There's some nuance in this conversation. I was reading the upcoming Monday Momentum, and there's a couple of things that stood out to me, and one of them is I'm going to try to build a visual, but I'll try to come up with a graphic before I post the podcast too.
Oh, fun.
But just a little graph. One day, Jillian and I were hanging out, and I had been thinking about this idea that Source has been saying for since the beginning, but they always say find your starting point, and that is that everything is perfect. Everything is perfect right now. You're not trying to make things perfect. And the nuance was, if you believe in diminishment, if you believe that there can be diminishment, or you believe that something is diminished, there's no way to ever make that thing good. Because if you already are starting from a place of broken or diminishment, there's no way to actually ever achieve perfection. That's it's a nuance, but the rebuttal is always going to be, oh well, everything that you create in life comes from something that's raw or ragged, and then you develop it into something like a sculpture, right? But there's a nuance to it, because Source would say the only reason you can create this sculpture is because it's creatable, from something to something, and that would be enrichment. So that's the way I took kind of the initial read of that Monday Momentum. And then there was a little kind of game that Jillian and I played one day. I brought out a piece of paper, and I put all 7 slices. And I said, where would you say you are on these? And we kind of picked some numbers, and we used pennies as like a marker. And then I slid it all to the top and said, every one of your slices is here. And in the conversation that continued to develop. And then she was like, oh, what if we look at this as also others and the world as a whole, and slid the pennies up to 10 across the board. And visually, it just really got across what Source has been telling us for quite a while, for a long time, that everything is perfect. And you have to start from there you have to start from there because that's how it actually is. But what you want to try to do is do shifts until you can identify that that's accurate. So I have a couple of points here. One of the things we'll talk about is why would splitting life up into 7 segments be useful? And that's one thing that Source did with us early on, the 7 slices. How would you ever see yourself as a perfect 10, let alone the whole world as a perfect 10? I mean, it took a while to understand how that works, but it's true. And what do you mean that you can't derive perfection from something that you don't see as perfect? So those are the 3 conversation topics, questions we're going to be running by Source today. Jillian, did you have any thoughts or notes on the queue up?
It's hard. They wanted to jump right in.
Of course.
Again. And I probably would say the most eye-opening thing I derived from this conversation when we initially had it was, Source uses the analogy, the bubble. And